the eternal master of fire, the undying wizard. Today we have the mage. His flames can burn worlds apart, leaving no trace of life, and his power is all but unknown. Today we are using the mage in the dark mirror, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Okay, so here we are in Act 1, just before the Yggdrasil fight, and today we are using the main man himself, Mage.
Nice.
Now, Mage here is a magic balanced skull, and we've got 107 bone fragments, so we can get this guy upgraded to unique just after the Yggdrasil fight.
Nice.
And Mage has been buffed in the recent patch, where all his skills have gained more damage. He also gets 2 mana on every base attack instead of 1, and when he goes up in the states from legendary, unique, and stuff like that, he gains more mana recovery when meditating and more mana recovery on swapping. So he's been buffed quite a lot, and for the items we are rocking, we have the basic Colleen Staff, the Colleen Insignia, the Cursed Live Embers, the Manatech Cogwheel, the Gold Incense Burner, Hunter's Boots, and the Ring of Wind. Now, because we have found the Cursed Live Embers nice and early, which is extremely good, we do want to be able to try and get our Arson maxed out at 4, so if you can find the Chest of Flames and stuff like that, because them items have also been upgraded, and Yggdrasil here isn't going to be causing us like any kinds of problems, because we are going to be doing so much damage with our skills, but we are going to be doing quite a few swappings, because we do have Alchemist here, and he's going to be doing a lot of damage. And if you don't know what Cursed Live Embers does, is when we burn an enemy, as you can see, it creates a fireball, dealing magic damage. So if you can get some just raw magic attack boosted, that will be doing a lot more damage for us. But right now in the early game, we are doing absolutely fine. The way you really just want to be playing Mage here is you just want to be concentrating to get your mana recovery, and you really just want to stay on top of your mana. That's the whole kind of aim of playing this guy. You don't want to be wasting too much of your mana so you can't use skills, because as you can see, this guy doesn't have a skill cooldown. And Yggdrasil here should be out of his first phase. We're just going to be gaining a little bit of mana from the basics. And you know what? Let's just let Alchemist finish this off with a few basics. And there we go. We're on his second phase. Let's hit him with all the flasks, and then we'll swap out into the mage here. Let's go for the fire arrows, which is my favorite ability on this guy, because his explosion and meteor strike aren't really that good at all. So you really just want to be finding fire arrow or the fireball for him. And Yggdrasil here isn't going to be living too much longer. We can hit him with the 4 flasks, and he should be dead here, or we're going to have to wait till he's finished his attack, because he's literally on about 2 HP. So you know what? Let's swap out into mage, hit him with a fire arrow, and he is dead. Now let's open the chest here. What are you going to give us? Okay, so we are just going to be picking up Succubus for that good early game quintessence, and we can move on here to the curses. I'm going to be picking up Soul Strike, putting a point into that, and also picking up Super Baby. Now we can move on here to Act 2, but before that, let's come down and upgrade Mage here up to Unique. And here we go, we've got the unique mage. Still going to be prioritizing bone rooms, because we do want to get this guy up to legendary as quick as possible, because he does get a major power boost. And we've not got my favorite skill on him in the explosion, but it will do for now. And we've only got the Gatling gun on the left, so we will just sit on the right hand side, hit him with the explosion, the fire arrows to kill him. And as you can see, when you do get this guy upgraded through the ranks, he does gain the ability to hold more mana, which is really, really nice, because that just means we can throw a ton more skills out. And because we are doing a magic run, I do really want to find some of the new items, like the Demonomicon, the Golden Wand. And let's take the money, move on to the Skull Room. If we can just find either a unique or something, that would work quite well. The Live Weasel just isn't worth it, so we're going to be moving on here. And let's see who we get. Water Skull can get destroyed. And we do go ahead, find the Golden Wand, which is extremely good for us. So let's pick this up. We're also going to be destroying the Hunter's Boots and picking up the 10 bone fragments. And let's move on here to the next item room. And no matter what Skull Room we actually find next, we will be able to go ahead and upgrade this guy up to legendary just after the adventurer fight, which is nice and early, so I cannot complain. All we do is hit these guys with a fire arrow. Should be able to kill most of these ladies here. And if you haven't actually used mage, I would recommend you to give him a go, because he is actually really quite good now, because a few magic skulls from the new patch did get really, really buffed. Mage is just one of those skulls. And we do get a legendary chest. Please just give us Neverman a suppressor.
Yeah, boy.
And there we go, we do find it. I mean, I'm not going to be complaining because this run is going extremely well at the minute. So let's pick this up and we can move on to the Skul room. All that I can ask now is that if we're going to be going for 4 wisdom, I would really like the bone of mana, just because we're going to be rocking 2 balanced skulls anyway. So we're going to be able to get the extra 80% amplification damage from it. And we've got a few enemies left before the actual adventurer fight here, but I don't think anything is going to be able to actually kill us right now. And we can just destroy warrior, get the max bone fragments. I'm going to do a little bit of concentration here just to get our mana up. And here we're going to be fighting the archer and the paladin. Not exactly the greatest combo, but we should be fine. Let's go for a succubus first. We just want to go after the archer because, as you guys know, she is the most annoying one for me. So let's let them sit them both together. Just go for some explosions to get some really big damage going. Want to be able to stun her before she gets her ultimate off. And you know what? Let's do a little bit of swap-ins with good old alchemist here. We've only got the paladin left now. So let's hit him with a succubus. Go for a few fire arrows. And this guy should be dead for the burn. And yeah, the burn finished him off. So we can search these guys up. And let's destroy warrior. And we can come down to Arachne, upgrade mage here up to legendary. And here we go, we now have the Gandalf of Skul. So we're putting the rest of the bone fragments into the HP and then the skill cooldowns. And we are still going to be prioritizing Skul rooms here because our item look has become really, really insane. Finding Nether Mana Suppressor and the live Cursed Embers. Because for this guy, those are probably the 2 best items that we could have actually found. And let's go ahead, speak to little Gust here. I mean, all I can really want is a little bit of wisdom from you. And the Beak of Raptors certainly isn't it. So let's make our way down, kill the final few enemies here. An explosion, if we had the mana, it should have been able to finish everybody off. And let's see who we get. Ghoul can get destroyed. And we're really just trying to make our way over to the sisters fight as quick as possible. Luckily, with the way things are going right now, this run is really wanting me to win because the last few times I've been trying to get the dub in the Dark Mirror level 10, it's really just not been working out for me. So getting a run like this, it does really just help. And let's take the money, move on to the shop. I'm going to be picking up the stone mask just to get our treasure up to 4, and we can move on. Okay, so I did just want to interrupt today's video to say thank you for all the support we have been getting on the recent Skul videos. I'm going to try and hit 400 subscribers by the end of April, so if you are new here, make sure you do drop a like, subscribe, and let's get back into the build. And let's search the treasure chest here. And if you didn't know, when you get your treasure up to 4, you get these big chests where you can either find items, bone fragments, or money. So if you can get treasure 4 early game, it does actually make a really big difference. Ryder can get destroyed. Let's move on to the Skul room. And I just want to see, how are you guys enjoying the new magic item update? They should be rolling out a physical patch. I don't know if it's going to be soon or not, because we didn't actually expect this patch to come in the first place. But from the physical patch, when it does come out, what skulls are you guys wanting to see actually get upgraded? For me, I'm really wanting champion to get upgraded because I do not like where he is at right now. And we do go ahead and get a prince's box with some wisdom on it, so we will take that for the ring of wind. But like I was saying, champion, he just really isn't a good position for me right now. I'm not really a big fan of him. So if he can get buffed, I'll be really, really appreciative of that. And Hunter can get destroyed. We are over to the sisters fight, and these lot aren't going to be causing us any kind of troubles. So we can just go ahead and let's go kill them.
Okay, let's go.
And all that I can really ask from this fight is if we can find a few arson items or just a very good quintessence. Because succubus isn't exactly bad, but I would like either, say, a Susanoo or like a Raven Knight, something like that, just to give us a little bit more damage than just the succubus. And luckily, mage here is going to be thriving in this fight. We can really do a lot of damage to the sisters here. As you can see already, she is very nearly dead. We just need to get a few more skill cooldowns on the guy because we do want to keep our mana as maxed out as possible. Let's go for an explosion while they're both sat there. And the same sister is in here, so she should be dead after a few more fire arrows and skills. And there we go. We're on to the second phase. We are just going to charge up, get the mana recovery nice and full. Don't want to be using explosion here because that is the skill that will probably kill us. But we can do it while she's sat here, get some big damage off. Yeah, that's hitting for like a few hundred, which in the early game right now is certainly not bad. And whilst we're here, we can just dodge through all of that, try and not take nearly half our health. And while she's doing the wall, we can just sit here, get the concentration up with the damage. Let's go for a few explosions. We should be able to just sit here and do some damage to the lady. Let's just dodge out of all the way of this, go for the alchemist hits, and we can still throw some balls to do some big damage. Swap out into mage. Let's go for the concentration, and let's just go for the few explosions, or actually go for the fire arrows here while she's just sat on the left hand side. Not going to be living for too much longer. We should go for the explosion, go for the succubus, and she is literally one hit away from dying, and there we go. Okay, like I said, can you just give us a little bit of wisdom or a better quintessence? And we do go ahead, find the chest of flames, which is actually really good for us. We do want to get our arson nice and maxed out. So let's pick this up for the Carlane insignia, and we can move on to the curses. And we're going to be maxing out Soul Strike, and then putting a point into Go-Getter. And we can move on to Act 3 and put the rest of the bone fragments into the HP totem. Let's head on over to the skull rooms. We're still going to be prioritizing these just to get the totems maxed out, because that is the one main goal I have for this run. And we've got a few purple enemies here, so a explosion should be able to do a good amount of damage to the alchemist, and Freezer's also made his way down here. Luckily, the explosions and stuff should be able to do some good damage to him. Let's just try and dodge out the way of all those attacks, and Minotaur can get destroyed. And who is that? We do get the Elder Druid down there, which, I mean, we're not really going for a sin run, so we will just go ahead up top, try and kill them as quick as possible so they don't summon the Neo Golem. I think one explosion actually just nearly killed the guy by himself. Okay, let's swap out, kill him with Alchemist, and let's speak to the Druid here. We will just get a free item, or never mind, because Freezer's just decided to come down here and try and nearly kill me, and we're gonna have to kill him with Mage, because like I've said in the past few videos, Freezer does block projectiles, so Alchemist can't actually really kill this dude. So a Succubus should finish him off. We can now speak to the Druid. Let's destroy the evil sloth, and we've got a final few enemies up here. Luckily the fire arrow should be able to take all these guys out. Let's take the money, move on to the shop, and we are going to be buying the food. We're also going to take the 20 bone fragments, swap out Alchemist here for Kaboom Bomber. We'll also take the 10 max life, and we're going to be getting rid of the gold incense burner for Inner Flame, and we're going to be locking in our fourth and final wisdom. So we've got that and our arson maxed out. And let's take the next skull room here. If you could find a few uniques or legendaries to get the totems for this guy maxed out even quicker, that would be great. And we will go ahead, speak to the halfling girl here. The free heal is certainly not a bad thing. We'll take the 20% for now. Just want to be keeping this HP for the adventurer fight, because that should be coming up in the next few rooms. And because we now actually have Kaboom Bomber, we are going to be getting a lot more mana in general, because when you do swap in, it seems to be that we get an extra 50 mana. So using the Kaboom Bomber actually isn't a bad choice for a secondary skull on this guy. So he might be going ahead and actually upgrading Bomber just to unique to be able to get his cooldowns on Kaboom a lot shorter. And the mana golem is here. We're going to be killing him with just one single explosion and the succubus, and warrior can get destroyed. Let's move on to the adventurer fight, and we've got 105 bone fragments. We are going to be able to get a lot of the HP totem maxed out, probably be able to get it actually finished, and we don't want to be taking too much damage here against these guys. So let's swap in with Bomber here, get the big Kaboom damage going. Probably going to be going after the archer first, because she is the more annoying one, and when she is going for the stun, we can just break her. Let's also go kill the ninja here, and the archer's dead. The ninja has got no life left. We've only got the hero. Luckily a few explosions and fire arrows should be able to take him out. Let's hit him with a succubus. We are really doing a lot of damage at the moment. All I can say is we're losing way too much actual HP, and we do go ahead and find the lunar ring, so we're going to be picking this up for the stone mask, and we can make our way over here and put the rest of the bone fragments into the HP. And we got that totem maxed out, so we are actually just going to be moving on to the damage now, because skill cooldowns doesn't really make a whole lot of sense on this guy. And let's move on to the skull room. If you can go ahead and actually find the solar sword, because we do, as you can see, have the lunar ring, and it's going to be really unfortunate because I think both of these golems are going to be able to get these spawn off, but we did just kill them instantly, so I was wrong. We've only got one enemy left up top, and it is the quarantine alchemist. Luckily some fire arrows should be able to take this guy out, no problem. And Froskull can get destroyed. Let's move on here. And is Freezer going to be granted the purple? He is nearly dead from one Kaboom. Let's go for an explosion, and this guy is not going to be living for too much longer. It would have helped if we actually hit that fire arrow, but do not mind me. And let's open the chest here, and we are actually going to be swapping out the stone of the air for the prince's box, because we will be able to get at least 2 stacks on it from the Chimera and Joan. And we do go ahead and find the ring, so we're going to be picking this up. We're going to be swapping this out for the Manatech cogwheel, and we're going to be locking in our 4th arson here in the inscriptions. And the ring is actually a massive boost to our damage. We're getting that 30%. We're getting some more skill cooldowns, which doesn't really matter on this guy, but the increased HP is certainly also not a bad thing. All that I can ask now is that we find a decent quintessence, because like I said, Succubus, it's not doing too much for us, but it is certainly nice to just have one. But if you can find, say, like a Raven Lords or a Susano, that would just really help. And let's see who we get. The Ghoul can get destroyed. Let's move on. Luckily, we do have the Nether Mana Suppressor maxed out at 60. We want to be going ahead and killing these alchemists before they spawn the golem. Luckily, the damage we are doing right now is actually insane. And sorry about that interruption. I did just get a phone call. And we got the final few enemies down here. Luckily, a fire arrow should just be able to take those guys out. And we do get a legendary. The Reaper can get destroyed. Thank you very much. And we are onto the Chimera fight.
This is big brain time.
Now, there's not much more I actually would want from this run. The only other thing, like I said, is just a better quintessence or maybe a better wisdom item just to replace the Carlane insignia. But other than that, this run is absolutely perfect. We've got the best arson items in the game. I cannot be complaining. And let's come out, swap into Bomber here to get the extra damage. And we can actually fight this guy far away, so it doesn't matter that he's summoning all the poison because the fire arrows are going to be doing a good amount of damage to this guy. Let's swap out, go for the Kaboom Bomber. And the Chimera here isn't actually dying as quickly as I would like. And there is actually one skill that when you get this guy up to legendary, we should really be doing. So when he meditates, when you get your meditation up to maximum, you then go into an awakened state where your skills do not actually use any of your mana. Luckily, the Chimera here is going to die from our final fire arrow. Now let's open the chest here. What are we going to be getting? Nothing too good, so we'll just go ahead, destroy Hope Slasher, move on to the curses. And let's upgrade Super Baby and also go ahead, put the next point into Go Getter. Want to be getting that maxed out quite soon if we can. I'm going to put the remaining bone fragments into just the magic damage. Got a nice chunk of that totem upgraded, so we only need to prioritize Skull Rooms for a little bit longer because I'm not really too bothered about the attack speed or the skill cooldowns because it doesn't really matter too much on this guy. And then we can start worrying about actually upgrading Bomber into Unique. So we are on Act 4 here. Luckily, there's not going to be a lot of things that can actually do a ton of damage to us. All I can ask is that we keep our health as maxed out for the adventurers and then the Joan fights, because we do not want to be taking too much damage, especially if we're fighting the archer, because you guys know I have real struggles killing that lady. And Rockstar can get destroyed. Let's move on to the item room. We should be able to actually get the magic attack now maxed out, which is good for us. I don't know if we actually make it over to that side there. We want to be killing the Executioner before he does so much damage to us. And let's go for an explosion here to kill literally everybody in this room. I might be wrong about explosion, you know, it might actually be quite a good skill. And I did will it into existence. We do go ahead, find the Solar Sword, so we do get Fulgent Dawn nice and activated. So that is always great to hear. Now, if we can only find just a little bit more bone fragments to be able to upgrade our totems and then Bomber, so we can make our way to the final few enemies. We'll use Kaboom to finish literally everybody else off. Let's see who we get. Ninja can get destroyed. Let's move on to the shop. And only if we could have found it a little bit early. We do get the Prohibited Book, and there's nothing I really want to swap out for it. But we actually do go ahead and find the Trainee's Necklace, so we will go ahead, take that fully basic Carlane Staff. And now the run is basically just complete. There's nothing else I want to really be swapping except the Quintessence, which we can only actually find a good one, probably from the Joan fight herself. Other than that, like I said, this run's done. We just want to get Bomber upgraded to Unique, maybe Legendary if we get really lucky, but I would not count on it. And I've got to say, Mage has really shown me that he has an absolute ton of power in his back pocket. So if you really haven't used him, I would highly recommend it. After this patch, he is extremely good for us. And with 79 bone fragments, we should actually be able to get most of the totem and Bomber upgraded to Unique, which is great. Let's go for a fire arrow on the guy up top just to be able to finish him off. Luckily, Mage here actually has really good room clearing abilities just because of his fire arrow. When it is maxed out, basically reaches the whole side of every room. And Genie can get destroyed. We are onto the Adventurer fight. And all that I can ask is that you don't give me the Archer. Anyone else, I am happy with. And the Rookie Hero, haven't fought him in a very long time. Luckily, I don't think he's going to be doing too much to him if I can actually remember his attack patterns. We just want to be playing it safe with Mage here. We don't want to be taking too much damage. And we'll go for a few explosions. Let's just dodge out of the way of his big sword attack. Let's go for the explosions where it's going to hurt him. And this guy isn't going to be living for too much longer. Luckily, if this guy wants to fight long range, we can also do that. And with this, you do just want to be dodge. I've said this. I've literally been hit by every single move. Really not playing it well, but we should be fine. Let's go for Kaboom with Bomber. Let's get the mana nice and stacked up. Let's go for the big damage here on the hero. He's not got too much life left, so after a few skills, he should be dead. And there we go. The Curse of Embers did finish him off. And we are just going to be destroying the Minotaur for the 10 bone fragments. Moving on here. Let's get the magic damage totem nice and maxed out. And we can come down here, upgrade Bomber to unique at Arachne. And if we do get a little bit lucky, we will actually get this guy up to legendary. We just probably need to find either an actual legendary themselves or either a few uniques, which with the luck we've been having finding skulls, we probably will. Now let's make our way up top. I think Folding Dawn literally just killed everybody up here, so we don't need to worry about them. And Frost Skull can get destroyed. We're just trying to make our way over to a shop so we can actually get our health back, because right now we're really not sitting pretty on the health we've got. Let's swap out into Bomber to get a Kaboom off. That did a ton of damage to Guts. Luckily, a few fire arrows should be able to finish him and the mage off back here. And we do have an NPC up here. Who is it going to be? It is going to be King Slime. Okay, if we get lucky here, this run could turn into something extremely good. And Gunpowder Sword, we are just going to destroy that. There's no items that I want to get destroyed, so we can come in here, speak to King Slime. All that I ask is you just don't give us the ring. And we get the Chest of Flames, which we're not actually going to be putting on any of our builds. Let's just make our way over to the next skull room. Like I said, if we could just find a few more uniques or legendaries to get Bomber upgraded to legendary, that would be great, because we've got nothing set in our sights now, because our items are maxed out. Only thing, like I've been saying, is the quintessence is a little bit terrible. So let's move our way into the shop here. Let's take the food. We'll go ahead, take the 10 max life, and let's move on. Just trying to make our way over to Joan as quickly as possible now. And I know I've not actually been really using the main skill of the legendary mage here in his awakened form. I'm merely just going to be using it for boss fights now, even though we've only actually got 2 of them left, which doesn't really matter too much. And if we do get one more unique here, we will be able to get Bomber upgraded to legendary, which is all that I can ask for, because he is actually proving us that he is still just one of the best support skulls in the game. I mean, he always has been, but this is just proving him right even more than usual, because I didn't think he'd really work too well with mage here, but I was certainly wrong. And we do get a unique. DP can get destroyed, so we do go ahead and get enough bone fragments to upgrade Bomber to legendary. And we're on to the Joan fight. We all know she's got her 2 phases in the totems and then the Joan fight herself. We're going to be saving the awakened state for the 2nd phase, so let's just go ahead and kill her.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, here we are. We're going to be going for the left-hand totem first. Let's just hit a few fire arrows. Unfortunately, his arrows don't actually reach all the way across the screen, or else that would have been really nice. Let's swap out into Bomber. We're just going to be wanting to get the cooldowns up nice and quickly as possible. We'll hit this totem with a few explosions. Should be doing a good amount of damage. And both these totems have got literally 0 life left, so a few skills and Bomber's Kaboom should be able to take these guys out. Let's just try and save as much as our mana as possible so we can actually activate the awakened state on the 2nd phase. Let's just charge us up to 100. And this lady really doesn't want us to get close to this 2nd totem here. So let's do this, hit him with a Kaboom, and it is destroyed. We're on to Joan, so we'll go ahead and activate our awakened state straight away. Let's make our way up top, use Succubus, activate the awakened state here. We're just going to be shooting 20 million explosions at her unless she wants to do that move, so we'll go for the fire arrows, which is actually doing more damage than the explosions right here. And if you don't know what his awakened state actually does, all it does is your skills no longer actually require mana, but when you have finished his awakened state, then it goes ahead and actually costs all your mana to use it. So it's mainly just used for boss fights. I can't really see any other use for it, but Joan here is not going to be living for too much longer, and she is just dead. So let's open the chest here. What are we going to be getting? We're just going to be destroying Hope Slasher, and we can move on here to the curses. So let's put the final point into Go-Getter, and then we're also going to be buying Collection Desire. And let's make our way over to Arachne. We can upgrade Bomber here up to Legendary and put 1 tick into the skill cooldown totem. And now we've got Legendary Bomber. This run is so finished. All that I can ask is that we find a good quintessence in the shop. And there's nothing too good in here, so we will just move on. And if you guys have enjoyed today's episode and you do want to help support the channel, make sure you do drop a like, subscribe if you are new here. There will be a playlist down below with all my other Skul videos in it. And there will also be a link down in the description to my Discord. So if you do want to speak to me and any other members of the channel, make sure to go ahead and join. And I did accidentally use the Awakened state there, so we're probably just going to sit back and wait for it to get cooled cooldowns. But for the loadout we are rocking, we have the legendary mage, legendary bomber with succubus. We've gone for a all-out arson and wisdom build with the curse live embers and nether mana suppressor. We've also chucked in the ring and fulgent dawn just for a little bit of extra damage and utility, and we've just put the dark curses into soul strike, super baby, go getter, and collection desire for the extra damage on our skills and the extra damage with our burns. So we've only got one thing left to do now, and that is go and kill the first hero. Okay, so we don't have the cooldown for the awakened state, which doesn't really matter too much because we're just going to be saving it for his second phase anyway. So we're going to be playing it nice and smart here. Don't need to be taking too much damage in this first phase. Luckily, we can just kind of zone him out with our fire arrows and bomber. So let's go for a kaboom, get some big damage off and some extra mana, because if you guys haven't been watching, when you do swap out with mage, you do get the extra bonus mana here. So let's swap out, get the concentration going whilst we can. And this first hero is really not liking us because we are just dodging every single attack of his, and we've also nearly killed him. So we're going to be going ahead. Let's get the mana up to maximum, go for a few explosions and a kaboom. Luckily the fire arrows are just going to be able to take this guy out. Let's hit him with a kaboom bomber. We should just be able to dodge through all of those balls there. Still on a no hit right now, which is certainly not bad. He's out of his first phase, and we're just going to be getting the concentration so we can get our mana maxed out whilst he's just going to be sat here for a few seconds. We're not going to be activating the awakened state just yet because it is not the right time to do so, because he loves to do this attack about 3 times. Let's go for the awakened state, and we're just going to be chucking 20 fire arrows in his face at a time because that is going to be doing our real big damage here. And whilst we're here, let's swap out into bomber to get the kaboom damage off and the extra mana. We can just zone him on the other side of the map whilst he's not going to attack us. Let's just get the concentration going. Let's keep our mana topped up to maximum, hit him with about 20 fire arrows, go for a kaboom, and this guy is not going to be living for too much longer if we can just hit the skills and not get hit by every single attack of his. Let's sit in the middle just so we can get the concentration meter up and maxed out. Let's hit him with a kaboom bomber. Let's hit him with a succubus. Let's go for the fire arrows here so we can get some big damage off, swap out into bomber, and we're just really not wanting him to get the free damage off with the kind of life suck attack, if that makes any sense. So you want to be playing it just a little bit safely and away from him. So let's hit him with a few fire arrows. We did use the revive, but it doesn't matter because that was a bait just to kill him. So that was our mage run in the Dark Mirror of level 10. And if you guys did enjoy, you do want to help support the channel, make sure you do drop a like, subscribe if you're new here. This has been Mystic, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.